Hi everyone, this is Darya here, founder of The Wealthy Wonder Woman. This is my very first official podcast. I'm so glad that you're tuning in. Today we're going to talk about how to get a guy to chase you. How to get a guy to chase you and to think about you for hours, for days, for months, and even for years. Because this can be applied whether you're dating a guy, whether it's your first date with a guy, or whether you've been in a relationship for years and years and years. All right? So there's certain things about how to get a man to chase you in the very beginning, and certain qualities and things that you can do, and then there's certain things that you can do that will keep him chasing you after you're already in a relationship. So in order for a man to fall in love, he has to feel a certain way around a woman. Okay, that's the number one thing, that's the most important. Let's say you've been chatting online with a guy and you've decided to go on a date, and you meet up for your first date. If he gets a certain vibe from you, if he feels a certain way when he's with you, then it's going to increase the chances of a second date. Okay, so it's really important to understand how to get a guy to feel a certain way with you so that he wants more of you. He wants to see you more. He wants to know more about you. He's interested in your inner world. He wants to be a part of your life. Okay, so there's certain things that you can do in order to actually make that happen. And the problem is if you don't know exactly what you're doing, you may actually be really compatible with a guy, but let's say you're like shy, you're extremely shy, you don't know what to talk about, or you don't know how to show the right sides of yourself to a man, then he may not ask you for a second date. Okay, because he won't see those sides of you. So it's really important to understand, to know what you are doing. All right, so we're going to talk about that. Now, when you meet a guy, your first impression is extremely, extremely important. Okay, so it's actually, science has shown that the first impression that you have of a person, it stays in your mind. It stays in your brain forever. It's basically imprinted on your mind. It has a huge, huge effect on the way that you perceive a person, which is why when you go on a date, or when you're meeting a guy for the first time, or even the second time, or the first few encounters with him, it's really important how you behave, what you say, what you wear, what you do, your body language, all those things, they actually really, really matter in forming that first impression of you that he has. Like I said, the important thing is to make a man feel a certain way around you. Okay, so let me just go into a few things that he wants to feel when he's with you. So actually, let's start with the things that he doesn't want to feel when he's with you, right? So this is a mistake that many women make, and if you've read my book, my free ebook, 8 Major Mistakes That Most Women Make with Men, then you'll know that one of the biggest mistakes that women make in general with men is they behave in a very masculine way, all right? And this is a problem for most men, because most men, they want to be the masculine ones. They want you to be feminine. They want to be with a feminine woman who has feminine energy, who inspires them, who makes them feel more masculine. All right? So that's what most men want. So the first thing you can do to make a man feel more masculine around you, which is one thing that he really, really wants, is to feel like a man with the woman that he's with. One thing you can do is to be more feminine. So how do you be more feminine? It's everything from the way that you dress to the things that you say to your body language. Now, being feminine around a man means being vulnerable. You have to be able to be vulnerable with a man in order for him to feel that feminine vibe from you. It's actually extremely rare for a man to meet a vulnerable woman these days. And it's really, it's actually crazy. And the reason is that most women don't know how to access that vulnerability because they've become so disconnected from it. But anyway, that's for another time. That's actually if you get my book, Major Mistakes That 99% of Women Make with Men, I go into this in detail. I talk about why, the problem in society and how this has a huge shift. It's hugely affected women and their relationships with men, and most women don't even realize it. So I talk about that in my book. So please go get it. It's going to be very, very useful. So how do you show up as a feminine woman with a man? The first thing you can do is be vulnerable with him, right? So when you're vulnerable with a man, it's kind of, you don't have walls up when you're with him. You fully accept who you are, and because you're fully accepting of who you are, you're not afraid of your feelings, all right? You're not ashamed of your feelings. In fact, you're actually connected to your feelings. And so the more connected you can be to your own feelings and emotions, whether it's sadness, whether it's happiness, whether it's regret, whatever kind of feelings that you may be having, when you share them with a man, he feels that you're real, and he feels that feminine vibe from you. Because vulnerability makes you a real person, and it's something that is rare these days, because a lot of women are afraid to be vulnerable. They're afraid to show their vulnerability, and a lot of women don't even know how to show their vulnerability. All right? And that's a very masculine trait, because men are usually the ones that are not very good at being vulnerable. And that's why they're attracted to women, because true femininity is vulnerable. True femininity is very in touch with emotion. So that's one thing you can do, is work on being in touch with your emotions and not being afraid of them, not being afraid to share them with your man or with your date. Okay, and he is going to be super, super attracted to you if you can learn how to do that. Okay, learn to love that about yourself. Learn to love your emotions and your femininity, because most women are extremely masculine these days. They put up walls, and they're closed off from their emotions. And because they're closed off from their emotions, they have more difficulty connecting with men. Because in order to connect with a man, you have to be in touch with your emotions. All right? So that's one thing that is really, really, really important to do if you want a man to just be mesmerized by you. The other thing you can do is make a man feel like a man. Make him feel more masculine. And again, a lot of women these days don't know how to do that, or they don't realize that they're actually they're doing the opposite. They're pushing men away by trying to show men that they know so much about the world, and they know about science, and they know about religion, and they know about everything. And basically they try to show how in control they are. They're trying to prove that. And whereas this type of behavior is good, in the workplace or, in other areas of your life, trying to be in control and to lead the way and to make every single decision is a very masculine trait. And it's very important to understand that. Because once you understand that that's a masculine trait, you can understand that this behavior belongs to a man. This behavior, controlling, leading, deciding, problem solving, this behavior comes naturally to men. It's wired in them. And the more you can let go of that, just let go of that control and give it to the man in your life, or just show a man, if you're on a first date, show him, allow him to decide on, you can even, let's say you're on a date, you can ask him to decide for you. If you're out at a restaurant, just tell him something like, well, what do you think? I'll let you decide for me. I trust you. I trust your opinion. This will show that you're letting him lead and decide for you. It's going to be amazing. He's going to feel amazing when you do that. All right? So men want to lead. They want to lead you. They want a woman that they can lead. All right? And when they find a woman like that who can learn to let go of control, let go of that masculine rigidity that she's holding so tightly inside of her, but that isn't natural to her. When a man can meet a woman who can let go of that and give it to him, hand it to the man, he is going to look at you like you are from, like you're this goddess from outer space. Okay, that he's never ever met before, because it's rare for men to meet a woman like that. Okay, and that is how you get him to chase you. That is how you get a guy to chase you, because it's going to make him super, super attracted to you. Learn to let go of the masculine traits within you and release the feminine traits, because they are what is natural to you. And some women have more masculine energy, some women have less masculine energy, but at the end of the day, men and women have completely different brains, and women are naturally feminine. The main problem is that, they've usually forgotten how to access the feminine part of themselves, or they've just, they've conditioned themselves over time to have to take on more masculine traits because they feel that they have to, because they have to make the money, because they have to support, their kids, because they're a single mom or something like that, or because they have to make the decisions, otherwise they're going to lose control and it's going to be scary and all, blah, 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 blah. So a lot of women have taken on these masculine traits, but it doesn't do you any good in a relationship. All right, so that is huge. That's the energy. You need to cultivate more of that feminine energy if you want to attract a masculine man, which most women do. So that is how you get a guy to chase you. Because when you go on a date, when you have been on one date or 2 dates or 3 dates and they've been going well, and you consistently show up in this feminine vibe, it can be even the way that you're dressing. I mean, don't underestimate the power of that too, but the problem is people overestimate the power of that. So yes, if you wear, like a flirty skirt or dress, that's going to make you, that'll be great. For your attraction factor, it'll definitely give you some points. If you wear red, men are much more attracted to red. This is scientifically proven as well. I used to do this actually when I would go on, when I went on over 100 dates. I actually, a lot of those dates, I actually wore red, which was very intentional because I knew that men are, in their minds, when they're much more attracted to red. So when they see a woman dressed in red, automatically it makes them think that she is more attractive. So that was actually a tactic that I used. Anyway, you can use that. But so the way that you dress is important, but it's not the most important, because a man can fall in love with a woman when she's just absolutely average looking. In fact, some of the most masculine men on the planet have fallen in love with women who are very average looking. Why? Because they have a high level of feminine energy and because they understand men. like nobody else. That is what matters to men more than anything. And that's why it's so important for you to understand that. All right, and to cultivate those feminine qualities, that feminine behavior, your body language. So your body language can either be tense and stressed and rigid and, fast-paced. If you're talking really fast, if you're moving really fast, if you seem like you're tense and anxious, then he's going to sense masculine energy from you. He's going to sense fearful energy from you. All right? Whereas if your energy is relaxed, if you're smiling, if you're playful, if you're just having fun, that is how you project your femininity. And trust me, he's going to feel that from you. And he's going to want to chase you even more when he sees that from you. Because most women are tense and rigid and stressed and masculine. Okay, so he is not used to seeing this light, relaxed, playful energy. That is feminine energy. That's what feminine energy is all about. So if you want to get a guy to chase you, if you want him to be thinking about you, calling you tomorrow, can't wait to see you again, learn how to cultivate more of your feminine energy. Okay, please download my book, my free ebook called 8 Major Mistakes That Most Women Make with Men. It's completely free. It's on wealthywonderwoman.com. It's going to tell you the 8 biggest factors that are going to affect your interaction and your relationship with men. All right, so if you want to know more, please go get that. And then I have my program, which is going to go into much more detail. Okay, it's basically this is the tip of the iceberg, 8 major mistakes, and I have major mistakes that 99% of women make with men. This is my book. It also has exercises. It has some of the best, most valuable information that I can give you. All right, so please go get that if you haven't already. And that's about it for today. I'm super excited that you were tuning in to my very, very first podcast. I hope it was helpful for you. If it was, please let me know. Leave me a comment, and perhaps I'll do more in the future. Take care.